Hey, Discovery listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, every episode that I produce might contain triggering material. So be careful, watch with care. Let's watch.
Paid for this whole Moldovan wedding. And that just doesn't sit well with me. In my opinion, Andrei, basically, he thinks Chuck's a big money bag and he can pretty much tap into that. So I don't know how I feel about him.
So the aunt has chosen her side. Apparently no one can just have a nuanced position on this topic. And this attitude, the implication of this attitude is that Chuck doesn't understand how to say no to things. That Chuck has some sort of disability about saying no. And Libby and Andrei, particularly Andrei, are stealing money from the dad. The dad has the ability to say no, and sometimes he does say no. He often says yes. Is that okay for Chuck to say yes? Can Chuck say yes to things? Is that okay? Now, you can, as an audience member, think that Andrei has an entitlement issue or he's a mooch or something. Okay, but if Chuck keeps giving him money and saying, yes, I will, yes, that's okay, and Andrei isn't really lying as far as we know. Now, there is this one question as to whether or not he spun the truth when he told Chuck that if he doesn't get a job soon, that he will be deported and he might have to bring Libby and Chuck's grandchild, away from them. I don't know if that was true or not. So if that was a spinning of the truth, that would be a manipulation in that instance, but we don't know. There's no reason to believe that that's true. But it's just an interesting perspective and it sounds like the aunt got an earful from Charlie because Charlie's been there for a while and is fully on one side of the fence, which is the anti-Andrei side.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so listen to this. You know, me and him were in partnership with flipping properties, right? And Andrei, who has been basically sitting on his ass for 3 years, comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I like what you're doing. Give me $100,000 and I'm going to do what you do.
Okay, so Charlie is actually accurate, as far as we can tell, in his summation of Andrei's behavior, his summary of Andrei's behavior, that he's saying it in a particular way, but I think a lot of people in the audience would take it that way, that Andrei has been not working very much anyway, and has been maybe a little on the entitled side of, I don't want to work at a job that is difficult for me. And then came to Chuck and said, hey, give me some money and give me a job and I'm going to go in business with you. Yeah, that is what happened. Now, you can have a problem with your brother-in-law for his lack of go-gettedness or lack of career planning or something. But Chuck said yes. Chuck said okay. And presumably Chuck knows how to say the word no, but he didn't say no, he said yes. And again, and a lot of you have hypothesized, and I have as well, that the Chuck, Rebecca, Jen anger at Andrei is just a triangulation about a lifetime of feeling neglected by their father, not given enough resources or love and attention. And now that Andrei comes in and starts taking love and attention away, they target Andrei, but really what they're upset about is the grief and loss that they've experienced with regards to maybe both their parents in terms of love and attention. And they have a fantasy that if they can somehow get rid of Andrei, then they will get the love and attention from their father. Or if they somehow demonstrate their worth to their father through all these various different behaviors, then they'll finally get the love and attention that they're looking for. Or the dad will hear them yelling at Andrei and really take it to heart that they're really upset at the dad. Again, it's a fantasy that people will have. I don't know if that's true for them. I'd have to ask them.
Working to take care of my mom. When he went down to Florida, he went down there with nothing. Just grit and everything. Hard work.
Well, I gotta say this though. You helped me get back on my feet, and you, Dad, loaned me the money to start this company.
So there's nothing wrong with loaning money then?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
So again, you can argue the details, but Chuck is the one in charge of this transaction. He is making the decision to take on Andrei and loan him money, I guess. I don't remember him saying he's going to loan him $100,000. I remember him saying he's going to take him under his wing, and maybe they would partner on a flipping of a house. But I don't know what the debate is. Chuck is able to say yes or no, and he said yes. So if you have a problem with Chuck. Don't have a problem with Andrei is asking for something that Chuck is willing to give. So why would you not ask for that? His father-in-law, Andrei's father-in-law, is a successful business person, and he's asking to work with him. It would be stupid of him not to at least ask, and Chuck said yes. I just don't understand his family and their attitude of like, so what is Andrei supposed to do? So, and this is what I would ask the family. Okay, all right, take a pause, all y'all, and now the aunt. What are you hoping that Andrei is going to say in this moment? I'm imagining the only thing that would possibly satisfy them is Andrei would be like, you know what? Even though I already have a job and I see the success before me that Chuck is going to help me with, and I eventually will be independent in my mind, God knows what's going to happen. Even though I have all that stuff, even though my wife wants me to work for her dad, because you don't like me doing that, even though Chuck said yes, because you just, outside of this whole ordeal, you don't approve of me, I quit. Chuck, I'm sorry, I have to quit because your other kids don't like the fact that I'm working with you. So I'm going to quit, and I'm going to try to, find a job at the low level and slowly work my way up, even though I have a fast track of a career right before me. Is that what you want? Because I think that's what they want him to say. And again, I think this is an emotional issue that for them, they had to work really hard to get into the business. They had to work really hard to get Dad's love and respect. And Andrei seems to be fast-tracked on that. I can see why you would be jealous of that. But you don't blame Andrei for that. You blame your father for neglecting you. That's the issue.
That's what I thought.
I guess my point is, starting from the bottom and working your way up, he didn't ask to be partners with anybody. He didn't ask for any of that.
You don't go into...
Oh, he didn't ask, probably because he didn't have the opportunity. Are we to believe that Chuck said, even though I have this opportunity to fast-track my career, I'm going to say no to that, and I'm going to, struggle with my career in this option over here. So their contention is like, you must struggle. I think that's the attitude. And I have to wonder if there's a racism thing again, this American exceptionalism thing that we see with Angela as well, of you're a foreign outsider and you're just mooching off of us, Americans that are awesome. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ask somebody to go into business with you, say, loan me the money so I can go in business with you. You bring the money and say, now here's my contribution. I'll go in business with you if you accept it.
When you go into a business with somebody, you had to bring something.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You can, and it's probably sweetens the deal, but if the other person is willing to work with you regardless, then you don't need to bring anything to the table because the other person isn't requiring it. This attitude of like, you have to play by these rules. This other person that isn't you has to struggle and shouldn't even ask for things that they have access to. So along those lines, we know that the other people in this family are privileged. So we're supposed to, other people could look at them and say, okay, you have a sweet job right now, but other people struggle harder than you do. And so you need to quit your job and go back and move back in with your parents because, other people have struggled and weren't given the privileges that you have. Is that what they're supposed to do?
He's not bringing anything other than debt for my brother. So I really do not think that Chuck should take on this project.
Fine. If you think Chuck should not take on the project, then talk to Chuck. Now, I want to say that I'm not defending Andrei. I'm not saying he is this awesome fella, that he has a lot of wonderful qualities, that he doesn't have some career planning problems. I'm not saying that. I'm just the relentless distortion that this family exhibits and collectively agrees on, I just find frustrating, I guess is the word for it. That they just cannot seem to have any flexibility or take a step back and go like, is this even any of my business?
Chuck already helped all of you, like the children, right, Chuck? Did you help everybody, like starting, right?
That's what motivates me, to help my kids be successful.
Exactly.
And if that
So you
means
help everybody?
my kid's spouse,
Okay.
it's the same thing.
But what I'm saying is that, like, most immigrants that come to America want to, like, go out and bust their ass and live the American.
There it is. There it is. Other immigrants are going to be like immigrants. Other immigrants stay in their place. Other immigrants stay under our foot. Other immigrants work in the back kitchen. They do not have a fast track to my level. Andrei is now at my level, and I'll be damned if an immigrant is going to fast track up to my level, because I'm an American and I deserve to be on top of things. There it is.
Since you've got to America, you've basically been relying on my dad.
Why is that any of your business?
Because we're in a partnership working on properties, and he brings him in.
But that's Dad's decision, is it not?
When you're in a partnership, you have to consult your other partner.
He did. We had a meeting.
Why would I bring you in to be a partner, Jerry? Like, come on.
Don't call me names, this is not Chuck.
So now, if Charlie, I don't know their business arrangement, but if Charlie and Chuck are true partners, and Chuck is using the business in a way that Charlie doesn't want to do, and Charlie legitimately has say in the matter, which I'm not quite so sure about, but who knows, then yeah, he has a problem, but not with Andrei. He has a problem with Chuck. Andrei has nothing to do with it. Andrei asked for something, and he was given it. He would be stupid not to ask, and he was given it, and he'd be stupid to pass up on this opportunity. Yeah, but there it is, of like other immigrants. What does that have to do with anything? The fact that he wasn't born in the United States, what does that have to do with any of this stuff? Other immigrants start at the bottom. There it is.
Told you not, like how it rolls.
You're not going to come into my family's house and talk to
I'm
me.
telling you how it
My family, okay?
Do something, Ben.
Really doing
What are you gonna do?
Stop.
Yeah, clearly I'm telling you.
You do something.
You want to try me out? Come on. Don't go
My
outside.
grandfather's here. Like.
So after berating him and triggering him and now I'm not excusing Andrei's behavior. He should just be quiet. So many times in these arguments, I'm just, Andrei, just don't say anything. It'll go away. Just don't. They're trying to poke the bear. And when you come back swinging, then you do look like a jerk face, because you are being a jerk face. And now he's literally threatening Charlie violence in front of his grandparents or his grandfather. Yeah, like just a hot mess.
Give me a break, dude.
Don't go soft, I'm telling you.
Go soft.
Don't go
Bring it
soft.
down.
Michael.
Bring it
Oh, yeah,
down.
you real strong.
Oh, yeah, I'm strong.
You guys are disrespecting my sister
That's
and my
enough.
dad.
Him.
Do you understand?
I want to point out that it looks like, is that Becca's husband? I think it is on Andrei's side now, which is interesting that we have a line that is being drawn, because he usually, I don't think, was on Andrei's side, but now he is. That's interesting. I mean, for the sake of just entertainment, it'll be interesting to see what role he plays. I don't even know his name.
I just wanted all our family to be together and to love each other. And Andrei.
All right, well, that does it for that episode. If you didn't know, you can join the conversation by commenting below. We do episodes where I react to your comments. Plus, you can join the Reddit, you can join the subreddit, you can join the Discord, the Facebook fan page, the Facebook regular page, our Instagram. What else? I think that's it. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.